Welcome back to The Nest, where we're discussing a wonderful topic which involves young motherhood. And we've had a wonderful guest so far. Her name is Anne Mitu, who got pregnant at the age of 19. She picked herself up even when her baby's father passed on a year and a month later. And right now she's making the change that we need in the society. And her story is very inspiring. So without further ado, allow me to introduce our next guest, who is a gynecologist, OBGYN, you know what they call them. And he's been, in this industry for quite a number of years. And I'm going to not waste another minute and introduce Dr. Wasike. Karibu sana.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming to our show. Yes, so I'll let you introduce yourself, what you do, where you are.
I think Maureen has briefly introduced me. My names are Dr. Wasike Wamalwa. I'm a lecturer in the University of in Jomo Kenyatta, University of Agriculture and Technology, College of Health Sciences, but I'm also a practicing gynecologist and obstetrician in Nairobi.
Wow.
So my main center of practice is Mama Lucy, but I also have my private practice in town.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming to our first show. All right, now, so we've been discussing matters of young motherhood.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you've been in this industry for many years. What has your experience been? Do you get a lot of young moms, teenage moms coming to you?
Yes, we do have a lot of teenage pregnant in this country. Yes. Commonly in public practice, we get a lot of young girls with complications of pregnancy, either as a complication related to their antenatal care, or attempting to terminate the pregnancies, or basically during delivery. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming, obviously, with teenagers, their bodies are not fully developed to carry a pregnancy.
That's the biggest problem. In addition to the stigma, of course, related to early pregnancy.
Yes.
Yeah. Because of that stigma, these girls tend to shy away from service delivery centers. They don't even come for antenatal care. So by the time they come, either they're coming with complications of trying to terminate, or they're coming to deliver with all the antenatal obstetric complications you can get. Yeah. So teenage pregnancy in itself is high risk pregnancy. And a girl who conceives below the age of 20, most likely she will have complications, because as you said, their bones are not mature, they're not fully developed, they're not able to carry this pregnancy comfortably or deliver the babies. So if you go to many societies where we have a lot of complications related to delivery, you'll find most of the affected women are women who have had teenage pregnancy.
Oh my.
Yeah. In fact, in this country, we have a campaign for prevention of fistula, and fistula, the leakage of urine or stool, unintentional. And the commonest affected people are these young girls who get pregnant.
I see.
And it's a complication of delivery.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's quite an insight, because all this time with Anne was thinking, okay, what is young motherhood, teenage motherhood? Is there a particular age that is recommended basically for bearing children for women?
Yes, the ideal age, if you look at the best age when women are well developed to carry babies, it's actually around 22 years, 22 years to 35 years. That is the best age to get your babies. One, women are born with ideal number of eggs.
Okay.
So they just shed every month. And also they're exposed to chemicals in the environment, radiation. So the quality of these eggs deteriorates. So when they conceive beyond 35 years, of course they have their own problems. when they conceive below that 5 years, their 22 years,
22
years, yeah.
their bodies are not well developed.
Right.
They are not developed basically, psychologically, physically,
Yes.
anatomically
Yes.
to carry the babies.
And Dr. Wasike, going away from the actual fact, yeah?
Yes.
What could be going wrong as a practitioner? What could be going wrong that makes these cases so many, and not just many, but with all these complications you receive? Because I'm sure you don't receive a young girl who comes and says, I'm here, I'm ready for this baby, and you're walking through, what is going wrong?
There are multiple factors. Yeah. Of course, socioeconomic factors is the biggest problem. Of course, in our African culture, we know that there's now a lot of campaign to protect the culture and promote their welfare, which is speaking on very well, which is good. But initially girls were not given a chance to go to school, and going to school and sustaining school is one of the best ways to prevent early motherhood.
Right.
Because then these kids are able to have some vision and work hard to achieve it. You find if they go to college, then they get married a bit late, maybe after 20. After college, they're about 22, 24 years.
Right.
So that's a mature age.
Okay.
And also it gives them socioeconomic protection when they're able to, of course, to get employed and make their own money. So they're not depending the way Anna was saying when they want to buy a PC set.
Right.
But the most important thing is, of course, socioeconomic empowerment of women. Once you do that, then most of these problems might go down.
And I think, Anne, that's exactly what your main goal is in this particular aspect. So with what Dr. Ari has said, would you draw for us a picture to see how the situation is on the ground?
Teenage pregnancy is a global thing. Like overall this year or a few years, the data has proven that we have like 21 million young mothers all over the world.
Right.
But specifically in Kenya, because of the COVID-19, we have had almost 152,000 girls. And these are teenagers, girls.
Right.
Assuming that she was in Form 1 or Form 2, the chances of her going back to school, it's quite small. And considering that the families are even, it's hard for them to get even food, so most parents actually encourage their girls to be married off at an earlier age so that they can reduce the number of children they are feeding in the house.
I can't agree more, because it's such a sad situation. It's 2020, but these things are actually happening.
Yeah, we're still talking about them.
Right. I think this is where, because I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm seeing also the difference between teenage pregnancy and young motherhood. I don't know, between you and Dr. Ari, is there a way we can differentiate that? Because if my law is correct, anyone who is responsible for making a teenager pregnant that's a criminal offense. It's breaking the law.
Yes.
How does it work?
And I think you have seen a lot of legal commentary on that issue. But the legal age for sexual consent in Kenya, I think, is about 16 years.
16, yes, it is. Yes.
Anything below that is defilement, whether the girl willing, they accept it or not.
Yes.
And of course, the legal age of marriage is 18 years.
18, doesn't make sense.
There are enough laws in this country,
and
people have been taken to court, and people, I think the sentences have been meted on many people.
Right.
Reporting is low. You see, also in the community, things tend to be hidden. You see,
yes,
they don't report.
So that could be also the
and also there's a problem also, Maureen. There is whom are these teenage girls having sex with? Fellow teenagers. Sometimes it's a mutual understanding. It's
teenagers.
Consent,
they see each other, they want to do what they want to
do.
So
it's a failing society. It's not for the girls alone. It's not for the boys.
Right.
But of course, where there's an adult involved, then there's a serious issue, and the law takes its own course.
It's true.
Yes. Because kids can be taught on the risks associated with the early sexual intercourse. In case they cannot manage, they should be given contraception the way Anne said, so that these girls don't conceive and they can continue with their school. Maureen, you walk around Nairobi on the street, you find very young girls
Very young.
begging on the street. You know, that's a very bad indictment
It's
for
true.
our society.
And then the desperation sets in, and then the pregnancy comes in, and then the complications come in, and that young mother wouldn't know how to guide the young ones.
The young
They
one.
have
She's a kid, and
Yes.
she's having another kid.
Yeah,
So how
plus,
do you expect them to? How do you
Right.
expect her to bring up this kid? It's
Yes.
difficult.
yeah,
But
plus when you
we were
say-
to look at certain things in case a young girl gets pregnant.
Right,
What should she do?
right.
We have youth-friendly clinics in this country. In
Okay. I'd
major
love to hear more
hospitals,
about
yes,
that
yeah.
because,
In major hospitals.
right.
I think almost all level 4 hospitals, those are up to what used to be called district hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
We have specific youth-friendly
Mhm.
clinics where these kids can go to,
Okay.
and they should be accorded. We normally accord them special treatment when they come
Right,
to
right.
the clinics.
Yes.
Yeah.
What hospitals are they, so that for purposes of
In
our
Nairobi,
audience?
we have Kenyatta National Hospital,
Kenyatta,
we
mhm.
have Mbakathi, we have
Mhm.
Mama Lucy.
Mama Lucy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And because these kids need special antenatal care.
Right.
Yes, if
It's
they
true.
come,
It's true.
they need special antenatal care, they need special delivery, they need nutritional support.
Right.
Because most of the time they're hiding away from their parents,
Malnutrition.
they don't
True.
eat.
It's true.
They're trying to tie their tummy so that they can hide
Yes,
the
yes,
pregnancy.
yes.
So they get malnutrition and the kids have problems growing, the babies in
true.
the
Yeah.
uterus. Yes.
It's true.
So when they come, we basically tend to put them on special diet
Okay.
and we do counseling to their parents.
Yes.
And when they're delivering, teenagers are not allowed to deliver normally. They should not be delivered
Absolutely.
because of the problems associated with complications
Yes.
of delivery. So
Yes.
normally they undergo cesarean section
Yes.
to prevent them from developing, especially the fistula.
Fistula,
leakage of
yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So there are services they can be able to,
Yes.
and most of these services are basically free.
Yes.
But the stigma is a problem.
The stigma
yeah,
is a
plus
problem.
also I feel like
Yes.
the way he's saying,
Mhm.
the services should also come closer to where the girls are.
Exactly.
Because
Mhm.
if she's from Mathare,
Yes.
you don't expect her to walk all the way to
Yes,
Kenyatta or Mama Lucy.
Lucy. Yes.
But if the clinics that are surrounding us, the
Mhm.
government clinic offer such services, youth-friendly services,
Mhm.
and when a youth walks in, finds another youth, probably not an elderly person who she might shy away from explaining what she's going through,
Right.
it can be much easier for them.
I agree.
You see?
Yes.
Because she knows that the person won't judge her.
Right.
Or maybe it might be an elderly person who knows her mom.
Yes.
You
Yes.
see?
Yes.
So she might want that confidential thing for a person who is probably understand her
Yes.
and get to treat her well.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, this topic could go on and on and on and on, and I'd have loved us to continue with this. But as we wrap up, maybe I'll give Dr. Wasike a chance to just give us a parting shot, talk to young moms out there and young dads as well, so that we can use this platform to, bring some hope.
So for those young kids, young girls who accidentally get pregnant, I know normally it's accidental, it's not intentional.
Yes.
They should seek early antenatal care. Yeah. As doctors or the medical fraternity,
Yes.
we practice what is called patient confidentiality, and normally we are not supposed to reveal anything what our patients tell
To
us.
anyone. Yes.
So those young girls who have accidentally conceived and they are not able to talk to anybody, they should approach any of these facilities I've
Right.
mentioned.
Right.
Look for it might be difficult to get, of course, to a consultant, but those clinics,
Yes.
we have adolescent clinics.
Yes.
If they are very lucky,
Mm.
they should be able to get into contact with people who can actually give them proper advice and start them on proper
Absolutely.
management.
Yes. Yes.
And look for a solution, because most of these kids hide. They come
they
when it's too
hide.
late.
Yes.
The ones who go for unsafe abortion is a big issue.
Yes.
That's a major kill of these kids. We see in my practice, we get kids with a lot of major complications,
Yes.
and you see them dying from the complications.
It's true.
Of,
And it's unfortunate. We
of
shouldn't be
unsafe
losing our
abortion.
children. Yes. Okay.
So if they can be able to get into contact
Mm.
with the service providers,
yes, service providers,
it's
yes.
difficult for me to tell them there's an ideal place
It's
for
true.
them to come.
It's true.
So that they can be started on treatment
Yes.
and cancelled against indulging in unsafe abortion.
Absolutely.
Because that's a major killer. I cannot cheat you.
It's true.
Yes.
Wow, thank you so much for, educating us today and taking us through this. And clearly there's hope out there for,
There is,
young
yeah.
mothers and all that.
There is.
And for Anne, with your story, which needs to be told over and over again, today, what would you like? What is that message that is in your heart right now that you'd like to just put out there, not just for the young moms to be, but maybe for the society, parents, other women in the clinic who judge these girls, practitioners, the government? What would you like to tell them?
I might probably start with the young girls
Yes.
who are not yet mothers.
Yes.
So there's so much, a lot that is ahead of you. I feel like if we refocus our attention to what we want to be in the future, we'll end up being mothers in the near future. But right now,
Exactly.
let's live in the
Yes.
moment and do what we're supposed to do
Yes.
as teenagers and young girls. And for the young moms, just like me,
Yes.
you don't have to lose hope. There's life
Exactly.
after
Yes.
being a teenage mom.
Yes.
If you're not able to go back to school, you can do life skills.
Yes.
It starts with acceptance. Accept the situation that you're in,
Yes.
and then move on regardless.
Yes.
Because life has to move on.
Yes.
And for the parent, mostly of the young moms, just accept them back. Because most of them want that love still.
Yes.
They want to see their mothers and their dad caring for them. Accept them back and try and mold them to become better mothers and better parents for the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for being such gracious guests and at the same time driving this wonderful conversation. Asanteni sana. So guys, you've heard it all. We've met a wonderful, inspiring young mom. She's still very young and she is driving an amazing initiative, Young Mothers Africa. Should you want her support and should you want to support her, we will facilitate a way that you can reach her with our contacts. And at the same time, we've heard from Dr. Wasike, who says there's hope out there. Being a practitioner in this industry, he says there is hope. You just need to make that first step. But remember, the story goes like this. Sex is not an emergency. So why not prevent before curing?
Yeah.
Second, let's be a less judgmental society. Mothers, those moms in the clinic, nurses, the government, and people all around, we can break this cycle. So if it happens, it happens. And then the governments come in and let's break this vicious cycle because you're very capable of doing that. And at the same time, this platform is about putting hope and inspiration to all of you. And in this particular program, young mothers and young fathers, we have not forgotten that you're there. Let's be responsible, let's do the right thing, and when it's said and done, we'll actually create a better society. Thank you for watching. I've been your host, Maureen Waititu. Should you have anything you need to say to us, information, encouragement, a story to be heard, please do reach us on all our social media platforms. You can also reach me on Maureen Waititu on Instagram, Maureen Waititu on Facebook, and we shall be happy to cater to you. Again, until next time, take care of yourselves.
I sing for you, wanna be like you do, baby, now you I go pick up, I am baby, I'm your face. What there we go? See, I may not give the word.